it's like this with riches. All you gotta
Okay, so we are officially done with Phase 2, Marvel. We are officially done. I have sat around like a good fanboy. I have watched all of your Phase 1 and Phase 2 pieces so far as a fan, and I have just a few questions that I would love for Marvel to answer for me. First off, why did you bullshit Ultron? You had a chance here to make Ultron one of the best villains you've had to date. You don't have a lot of great villains in your arsenal so far, and I don't think you seem to realize that. The best ones I've seen so far are Ironmonger, yes, Loki, shouldn't be, and honestly, the Dark Elf guy from Thor. He was my favorite. Winter Soldier doesn't count because he's not a villain if before the end of the film you turn him into a hero. The true villain of that film was the Redford character, and guess what? Kind of killed him. So you're really gonna need to look into your trend. You didn't even try Josh Whedon, and honestly, Josh, I don't think it's you. I think it was Disney. I think that Disney, at the end of the day, they took way too much creative control with you, and you just were trying to get your check at that point. You were just like, you know what? I want my check. I'll finish the movie. I'll do all this. I want my check. I'm going to go back to... That's probably exactly why, after you got done doing Avengers, you were like, hey, I need to go create something because I feel basically stifled due to the fact of Marvel tying my hands while I'm trying to write a movie here. You picked Ultron before you had even finished Avengers. You told them you were doing Ultron. Why did you let them then come back in and tell you how to run your movie? I will never understand. That's the thing. And I think it's the same reason why J.J. Abrams walked away from Star Wars. Way too much control taken away from him as a director by the studio. I think that's exactly what you see in all of the Marvel films. The fact that you guys lost Edgar Wright for Ant-Man will be the biggest L of your film career. The fact that you think that you were just going to skate by hiring these ridiculous people to direct your films and you not be serious about it is even worse. You could have had the Russo brothers, or the Russo brothers, whatever those two brothers you got writing the Captain America series. You could have had those two working with Edgar Wright on a potential Civil War film. Why build this giant connected world if you're not going to hire people to be in at least some of the movies with one another? You think that by taking more creative control and creating this connected universe that you make your fans more interested. You only make us more interested in the fact that you have all of these things connected, but yet you really don't use that connection ability within the films. For example, you say that Iron Man technology was in Captain America Winter Soldier, but then you never explain why Iron Man doesn't tell him how to just shut the technology down. Iron Man built it, why can't Iron Man shut it down? You tell us in Thor that Thor now knows that there are 9 portals, he's opening the portals, and he's going through all these different realms, right? So Thor has to, in some sense, know about the potential of the other enemies out there, Thanos. Something had to... There's a whole bunch of loopholes that you're not really connecting. If Thor is doing all of this work, why doesn't he call in a secondary guy to maybe check on the wormholes for him? Why doesn't he call in Iron Man to maybe see where these wormholes are popping up or try to figure out some way to link science with magic? He doesn't. He literally does not look for help. I understand that each person has their films, and you're saying that it's too cost effective to hire these people for their films, but you're proving with Civil War that that's not the truth. So, once again, why build this giant connected world if you're not going to hire people to be in at least some of the movies with one another? That's another big question I have for you, Marvel. Now, I will admit that Civil War is shaping up to be one of the best films that you've personally created. But it's because you probably let the Russo brothers do what they do best. And you need to let them do the same thing with Infinity Wars or you're going to lose long term to DC. Because DC is going to give every one of their directors 100% creative control. That's exactly the reason why Zack Snyder was able to make Man of Steel happen. Man of Steel should never have happened. No real studio should have looked at Man of Steel and allowed that to happen. As soon as you saw the scene at the very end where Superman does what he does to Zod, you should have been like, stop. No. Write this part out. Fix this. we're gonna put some more we're gonna buff this down to some more better Superman moments. Like, you just created a whole new 52 universe, and this is the Superman that you allowed to come out. Fine, but it worked out because now we get Batman versus Superman. And if this whole thing was to lead up to Batman versus Superman, and you're creating an all new universe that has nothing to do with the comic books and nothing to do with anything that you've ever done before, then fine, I understand and I forgive you for Man of Steel because you're making your own path. But that's creative control. You have the ability to do what you as a creative want. Marvel, Disney does not allow that, and that is the biggest drawback to their franchise, by far. Above yourself, okay? Marvel, get it together. You're better than this. You have all the money in the world, and you're over here playing like CEOs and rookies, okay? This is film. You know what the people want? The people want what the people imagine, okay? Anybody can pick up a comic book at any time and read. I understand that you're trying to create something that's outside of the comic book realm, but you can't then use all the comic books for your base. The only comic book that you're not using for a base is Thor. You're running Iron Man exactly through the basic channels of the mythos of Iron Man. Everybody you've used from Iron Man is from the book Iron Man. Everyone you use from Captain America is from the Captain America books. Ant-Man, from the Ant-Man book. Scott Lang, from Ant-Man. He was the original Yellow Jacket, and you switched that. Fine. I'll let that go because Ant-Man turned out great. But guess what? It wasn't because of the director, and it wasn't because of you, Marvel. You can thank Paul Rudd because he sold your movie for you. T.I., Paul Rudd, and that whole gang was better than pretty much everyone else you had working on the entire film. Sorry to say. Except for Michael Douglas. Shouts out to Michael Douglas. You did well with that one. Thank you for playing Henry Pym. I wish that they would have just let you be the creator of Ultron, but no, having Tony make it makes so much more sense. He made it in a couple of hours while he was at a party. It makes way more sense. It doesn't. Stop being lazy with your writing, Marvel. Go hire Bendis, the dude who writes 90% of Marvel's comics right now, and just let him sit in on every single movie, show, and series you make until he either dies or gives the job to the next person he feels is eligible and possible to take his position as the film cinematic liaison for y'all. Because y'all just keep writing the dumbest screenwriter cookie cutter bullshit I have ever seen. I don't even really write films, and I can tell what's going to happen in your films before the first hour is up. I could have told you before the first hour of Captain America Winter Soldier was up that it was going to end with Captain America basically getting his face punched in as Winter Soldier stood over him. And all it was going to take to break years of brainwashing and basically doing the Captain America ice bath was some words from Captain America. You're lazy, Marvel. Start trying, and I promise you $1 billion, $2 billion will be as easy for you as Star Wars was. Just stop being difficult, man. Go simple. Keep it simple, man. Keep it simple.